Okay, it's 11 o'clock. I've started the recording, so we may have some other people joining us, but I thought we could go ahead and get started. The tentative agenda, can everybody see on their screen?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you who are on the phone, basically our agenda items right now are approval of the December minutes, discussion of MARCTAG 99, discussion of local subject headings, gathering input for topics for regional trainings this spring, and a repeat of the patron survey. Are there any other agenda items the committee would like to add? Okay, hearing none, let's go on to the minutes. They are posted on the website. They are also, I know Dia sent them out a while back. Let me see if I can get them up on the screen. Actually, yeah.
Beth, while you're pulling those up, I did have someone ask for a change in the way something was stated having to do with the DVD cases.
Okay.
Instead of, Catherine asked it be changed to there hasn't been money used to purchase larger cases at this time. So I will make that change.
Okay. All right. Any other changes to the minutes? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes with the change that Dia noted?
So moved.
All right, and a second?
This is Lori, and I will second that.
All right, thank you. Okay, so minutes are approved with the change, and between Dia and I, we'll get those changes on the website, so those documents are revised. So starting off discussion of MARCTAG 99, Dia or Laurie, did you want to start this discussion?
This is Lori, and all I would like to say is that we noted that that was a local MARC field, and that we didn't know if we should be using, we wanted to discuss this field as well as some of the others. Don't know that it makes sense to use local call numbers in a big record when we're in a consortium.
Yeah, I would agree. Does everybody feel comfortable just, I guess, stripping this from records? And
Well, the other thing we talked about is that it really doesn't make sense for us to even put them in.
yeah, I guess that's where I was going to. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
This is David.
Yeah.
And I will have something I want to say here, which is I'm not 100% sure if we need to go in and strip them all out, although I suppose that that's a task that could be automated. I think we may want to add to the cataloging standards manual or other documentation that we need to leave the 082 field intact. Because I think the reason why we used a local call number field is so that we would preserve the complete Dewey Decimal classification and not an abbreviated or truncated version of it in the record.
But that particular one would be the 092 as opposed to the 099.
Oh, okay, sorry, I got those two mixed up.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Right. Well, I think the point I wanted to make here is that, as long as people understand not to modify the 082 field in the record, they can do whatever they want with the 092 or the 099. Now, granted, I think that the committee is right in suggesting that the volume record rather than the mark record is a better place to record a local call number. So I am not in any way opposed to eliminating 099.
Well, it seemed when the mentors were talking about this that it's really no different than having a local copy number, or excuse me, a local copy note that says, author, autographed copy or something like that. It's an item-specific thing, so that's why we were recommending this discussion.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I think we're in agreement that this is a field we don't need to enter. If it is present in a Z39.50 record, do we want it to be stripped on import?
Is that one we're currently stripping or not? We weren't sure.
I don't believe it is.
Well, if we're not going to use it in the consortial, then there's no sense in bringing it in.
That was my feeling. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. I will check the fields currently being stripped and add that one if it's not already there. Okay, discussion of local subject headings.
That was primarily related to the discussion that our group and many of our patrons really want to retain the Oregon authors note. And we have previously done that as a 655 note.
Well, Oregon author is not a genre, first of all, so it shouldn't be in 655. Neither is it really in Library of Congress approved form. I'm not opposed to tracking local or regional authors, but
we have tagged it as a local.
Yeah.
By using the second indicator 4, that takes it takes it away from being defined by a thesaurus.
Right. No, I mean, I'm aware that we can separate it out in the Evergreen database, but what I wanted to ask is, do we need to use a local subject heading Oregon authors, or could we use authors, American subfield Z Northwest Pacific, which is an LC approved subject heading, and it would also include all of the folks from Washington and Idaho.
But we want specifically Oregon. That's what people are looking for.
Many of our readers want specifically Oregon. That's why we did that, and that's why we did it on following the current rules.
Okay.
However, I think that field is probably changing. We did agree that it wasn't exactly a genre, but people look it up and they do large type books, or they're looking for this specifically, or mystery. There's some people that read intentionally just Oregon authors in large streets. So we wanted to be able to find them. But I think there's a new tag, a new field that we're supposed to be using under RDA.
I don't know that there is specifically. So, well.
Is this something that could go in a 690?
Yes, it should be in a 690 rather than a 655. Thank you, Beth. That was the one I was thinking of.
That is what the discussion is.
Yeah.
We're just looking for the right field.
So It would be an easy fix to switch our current 655s to a 690. I guess just going forward, we want to be consistent, and so
Mhm.
that was part of the
Well,
reason for the discussion.
Well, that one specifically, because it is a local subject heading for Oregon authors. But I mean, as a general rule, though, I'm not sure that we should be everybody creating a bunch of local subject headings when you can do the job with Library of Congress headings. Now, in this case, Oregon authors, it's okay, but I mean, then do we do another one for Washington authors and another one for Idaho authors? And I mean,
This is
I
a
don't know.
local note. This is a local note simply to serve our patrons. We're not talking about separating out the other Pacific Northwest authors within our system. We just know the
Right.
feelings of our patrons. We've been working with them now for 20 years, and we know what they want, and this is a service to them. So we
Yeah.
want to do it properly as we can. So a 690 second indicator for Oregon authors.
Right.
So
Now, do we need the second indicator 4 and a 690 though?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think we do either.
So I don't know though. It's just I guess discussion of local subject headings. I thought it would be a little the discussion would be a little broader than just this one specific instance. Which, yeah, I think it does serve the patrons, but
Well,
by and in large, I think local subject headings is something we should try to limit in the consortium. We don't want everybody creating their own, do we?
we have actually had this discussion in the past, David. And,
Okay.
And what it was, you know, anytime that someone feels that we need something within the consortium, and jump in, Lori, if I'm wrong, that we will discuss it. But we've never we've never really had anything come up other than this particular one.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking the only people that would really be using local subject headings out of need would be maybe Plaintree, because they're a special library, and also Josephi Center. But if they haven't really come forward, then I guess it's not an issue. So, okay.
I do have to interject, though. I think we still have to use second indicator 4 because that tells you that it's not traced by any of the other authority.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to put it in anyway.
Yeah, I was wondering what our other choices of indicators were, going through my brain, and it's like, okay, maybe we do need 4 after all.
Well, and I'm not sure there's even any assigned because it's a local note.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering what
now.
So what would we use instead of 4 then? Just blank for both?
I guess we could determine that because there is no assigned at this point because it is, a local convention thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And local definition. That's exactly what it says in the MARC manual.
Yeah, I guess I just for my notes and going forward, and if I make changes, I want to do something that we're all going to kind of follow.
Correct. There is also a chat note here from Molly saying that Plaintree does use Plaintree classification local subject headings, and they use the 692 field.
Okay.
Molly, do you mean you use MESH, the medical subject headings?
I think she has said before they don't use MESH.
Oh, okay.
But Molly, you can clarify that.
No, Plaintree has its own classification system, and those are the headings that we use.
Okay.
All right, do we have a consensus for what we should put in the second indicator for the 690?
Hold on a second here while I open up my browser.
You know, I'm looking at the 655 from what we had been using, and it says it's source not specified.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna
And
go
I'm
with that
thinking,
as well.
I'm thinking that's probably, and I know that's why we used it. So I don't see why we couldn't stay with it.
Well, I think we have two choices. We can either use second indicator 4, and as I guess we've been doing. Alternatively, we could do second indicator 7 and then have a subfield 2 local.
No,
No.
We
There's
Yeah.
okay.
chose not to go that route before.
Yeah, it's more
Okay,
work.
then second indicator 4 it is.
Okay. All right. Are folks okay with me switching the records that we currently have under 655 Oregon authors over to a 690 second indicator 4?
that
Sounds
would
like
be
a plan.
lovely.
What did you say?
Lori,
Dave?
I didn't catch what Lori just said. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
that would be, keep it uniform, yes.
Okay. All right. All right, we're making great progress to the agenda.
Thanks, Beth, for taking care of that.
Oh, you're welcome. Wanted to give an opportunity to the folks attending the committee meeting to give us input into the content of regional trainings. We still have some travel money in the budget of the grant, and we want to do another round of trainings out in local communities. So just some ideas of what you'd like to see covered in this last part of the grant.
This is Dia. I just have one suggestion.
Yeah.
And it's not a specific, but can we tailor the training to those who are attending? So if they are level 2, it'd be identified for level 2.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because what I'm hearing from the people that I work with is when it's above them, then they get confused and they think everybody's doing this but them. And so it's causing some consternation out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to do that in the process of having these permission levels to create more frustration or anything like that.
Okay. So would it be ideal to, I guess what I'm trying to do is anticipate, whether we have multiple levels attending a certain training, whether we need to have an afternoon and a morning session, and split content up, or just see who wants to go to a training.
This is David, and on the subject of topics for regional trainings, one thing that I wanted to throw out is if we have identified or can identify people in SAGE who are candidates for promotion to level 1, which is something that I would like to do, then we can have training sessions that are identified as being for that purpose and talk about overlay and use of record buckets and stuff that folks would need to be trained in. But again, like I said, this is something for people that we've already identified and who have, been given the nod by their library director to be lead cataloger, et cetera, and have, put in the time that we consider necessary, but I mean, that is something that we can, in terms of workshop or regional training subjects, that's something to keep in mind.
That's a good point, and that's one of the great needs we have here in the south and southwestern region. I know there's several catalogers that would like to move ahead.
Mm-hmm. And I think getting a little more access out there to be able to import and overlay will also, and to merge, will go a long ways towards improving the quality of the shared catalog in the future. So that said, another round of stuff aimed at folks who are copy cataloging is totally doable. One thing we could maybe look at a little bit more is unusual material types, you know, I don't know, microfilm or three-dimensional objects, toys and games, and record. But again, though, that does kind of assume original cataloging ability for some of those. And, you know, right now...
Can I just throw out a question? Because I'm listening to all of this and I'm thinking this all sounds great, but I heard something that kind of, I don't know, doesn't necessarily raise a hackle, but it concerns me. When you say people that are identified as capable of moving up, or however you said it exactly, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, I can't remember the exact wording.
Yeah.
But you said, like, identified by their directors.
Or
okay.
Somebody.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that you're not just isolating them as the potential, because my concern is some of our directors don't know what the, oh, I lost the word.
What qualifications it takes
Thank
to
you,
make
Lori.
a cataloger, and they're looking for field expedience in order to serve their institution's needs, not to
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, well, Beth and I were just talking about this briefly before the meeting. And the idea is that I don't know that the committee has entirely settled on a length of time or a demonstration of skills that they might be looking for in terms of advancement. What I'm saying is that I don't anticipate there being more than one level 1 cataloger per district, and in some districts maybe there might not be one, but whoever that person is, we don't want to create like a fight for it. It's sort of a situation where, you know, whoever is the designated lead cataloger for their district, however that district chooses to designate them, would sort of be the person. We wouldn't just like...
This is Lori. This is Lori, and I don't care how many are qualified within a district. If the larger districts want to allow 1 or 2 or 3 people to reach a top-level cataloging, that's fine.
I agree.
We have to have a process to monitor who's getting the designation, and that has to come from the cataloging committee. And we did talk about this. The mentors that are designated would be the overseers for, you know, both for identifying good quality cataloging, recognizing issues that need to be worked on, and then providing the tools to advance. So once you're gone, we have to have a way to identify and to train. And we're all wrapped up in this.
And I've said before, but I'll mention it again, is I think that committing to a term as a committee member may be an expectation of advancement to level 1.
But we don't have any kind of membership in the committee. It's an open meeting, and everyone has the right to speak up.
Right. But it could be a requirement that we do ask that top-level catalogers should sit in on the cataloging committee meetings
and participate. Yes, I think so.
Right, because we have had that problem before too. So that would be a nice requirement, I think, for top-level cataloging.
Well, it sounds to me though that it's something we maybe need to think about a little bit right now in terms of topics. Do we have more input on on specific topics that people want to see covered in training?
Original cataloging
Okay.
and working with records, identifying potential duplicate records. I'm always a little hesitant to be too open with expanding the merger tool because there are so many mistakes that get made in mergers. So
Mhm.
it's definitely something that we should be providing training and watching, monitoring people as they're working at it initially.
Mhm.
Um,
And the initial trainings, it would be good to just take a short period of time anyway and make sure that they understand to include subject headings and genre headings and what the minimum requirements are for a record. A lot of people are ignoring it.
Might be a good time to go through the new matching standards also.
Yes. Quick review anyway.
I think going over the assessment of what makes a good record and what is a deficient record, kind of following up with the tip that you recently gave on, Z39.50 records, there's a great diversity in quality sometimes, and just helping people decide on records would be good.
To be able to recognize a high quality record.
Exactly.
Okay, that's something that I've been thinking about in the context of duplicate record merging. But yeah, I think we can do some more regional training on that for folks who are using Z3950.
I think that would be a very, very good use of our resources to do that.
This is Lori, and at some point, I don't know how many people feel a need for this tool, but at some point I wouldn't mind some hands-on training on kind of generating records or tracking certain types of records. And especially as a mentor, I would like to know how I can track any of the records that catalogers under my assistance might be creating so that I can work on the problems that are coming up.
Okay.
So at some point I want.
So some reports, Lori?
Right.
Okay.
Reports, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Now, Brent just announced that he's going to be doing some training on reports.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to attend that workshop myself. Where did his email? Oh, here we go. Monday, February 29th at Hermiston Public Library is when he's doing it. It's kind of an all-day thing from 10 a.m. to 1:30. And says bring a laptop capable of running the Evergreen staff client.
Well, I think we should make it a point to see if he could at least offer one more of those further to the south side anywhere.
Well, and it wouldn't be a huge time factor if as a part of the training, I show where people can pull these reports. Because I can create a canned report that will basically allow you to pull records created between a certain date by login.
Well,
I already have the report written.
Don't you already have such a report?
I do. That's what I just said. So I can just show people where they can find it and run it. So.
And this is also, I'm going to wait and kind of see what Brent wants to do here. But again, this is something where we can maybe make a YouTube video to demonstrate as well.
Yeah, Brent was going to try to record it, but it's certainly something that we can obviously have more reports, trainings in different places. They just haven't been scheduled yet. But this is a quick thing that we can show people at the training, and it wouldn't take a lot of time.
Well, and it would be helpful for those who don't feel like they understand enough of the structure of the system to be able to create something complicated either.
True. Any other topics, or should we, I mean, since the trainings haven't been scheduled yet, we also have opportunity to come up with more topics closer to the time. I just wanted to get the juices flowing as far as, you know, let people know we are going to do regional trainings and get them thinking about what they'd like to see covered.
Did people like that the poll that he had for the dates? Because that's something that we could do for the regional trainings as well, is have a survey to see which date works best in which region. That's been kind of an issue before.
I think you'd get better input if you did something like that than just assigning a date and trying to work with people that really don't all know that it's going on, the planning.
Yeah, I've tried to contact, attendees and hosts and stuff in just individually in the past, but the survey would be more.
I think what we suggested before is we really need to have it broadly announced, and that maybe you're looking at specific areas, specific kind of time frames, but really you need to have it as open as possible, because there are times, especially as we get into the nicer months, people are moving around and they may not be available in their area for their time, but they may be closer to where there's going to be another training that they could take in if they're aware of it.
Yeah, okay.
Right, there should be a schedule for every training once you're done. Enough advance so that people can pick what area is going to work for them and which date. I mean, it's no problem for us to drive a little ways as long as we have, 2-3 weeks notice. And we can put one on here as well if this is a central location and works, but I need time to put that together.
Okay.
All right, well, David and I can get together and talk about regions and put that survey together to send out, and we'll send it out to the cataloging listserv.
Should notify directors as well, I believe.
So both the cataloging and the general listserv?
Right, and there should be a notice to everyone at large that it would be good to get input on this. When are you thinking, what are the dates you're thinking for the survey? I had hoped we would be doing it during our winter reading challenge, which is always.
Wait, are we talking about the patron survey, or are we talking about survey of when the dates are for holding regional training?
I was talking about the regional training survey.
Sorry, I'm mixed up. I'm seeing the flasher by the patron survey.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll put the flasher by what we're finishing up on the regional trainings, but I just wanted to, so when you were talking about sending it out to the directors, Lori, you were talking about the patron survey?
Yeah, although you might need the director's cooperation on cataloging training as well.
Okay. All right.
How you might do that, Beth, is just put out a note to the Sage Lib, saying we are working on planning some trainings this spring.
Okay.
Just so that people are aware to begin with, and ask for if anybody has any input.
Okay.
You solicit that way and then, go from there. If you get a lot of response from, other than catalogers, then we know we need to be sure to include as we're actually doing the scheduling and whatnot.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So we will work on that. Next topic, the patron survey. We had talked at the last meeting that we're needing to redo the patron survey to see how we measure up after, making improvements to the catalog, and see if our patron satisfaction level has gone up. So we talked about redoing a repeat of the patron survey starting in February. My recollection was that we had it up for a month. So was going to try to get that done this week. And it will be posted on the Sage Catalog main page with a little bit of explanation that this is a repeat of a survey given last year, but we want to see, I don't know how to phrase it, but I'll think of something. Basically, we're just trying to see how we've done. Any concerns about the patron survey? It's very silent. Okay. So when the surveys, go ahead.
Hold on, this is David, and I want to go ahead and ask here. No questions that people want to add to it.
Oh, we can't add to it, David, or it won't be.
Okay. Oh, right. We have to compare apples to apples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I do. If there's concerns about coverage and getting the word out, I certainly want to address that. If there's things that we did last time that, maybe limited the number of results we got back, that would always be nice to address, but for content, we can't really change.
Did we actually ask the directors if they thought it would be appropriate to put out a printed copy for those who didn't feel comfortable giving?
We did, and last year we encouraged sites to have a printed, several copies of the survey available in print form for those patrons who did not feel comfortable filling out something online. So we'll do that again as well, so that we cover both sets of people. And encourage libraries, if they don't, that somehow they need to get those print survey results to me so that I can add them to the other results at some point. Okay, well, if there's nothing else on the survey, that'll be one of my to-dos this week, as soon as possible, so that we have as much of the month of February as possible to get responses.
Are we going to try to run it like for 4 weeks or something?
Yeah,
or?
30 days.
Okay. Okay.
Trying to keep it the same as last time. Okay, is there anything else the members of the cataloging committee would like to talk about? Issues that you've come across lately that you want to check with other fellow catalogers on?
I've been too busy attending our meetings to notice the cataloging. Kidding.
Well, I guess we could always end the meeting early, but
I have a protest march to go to, so that would be nice. I want to go down and confront the militia.
oh, you do. You looking forward to that, Lori?
Not especially, but it's my civic duty.
Okay.
So can we make sure that we get that, we stay on top of, and we do some email communication about the upcoming trainings?
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
Then hopefully we'll have a pretty committed schedule then by the end of February, and we'll be looking at those trainings taking place April and May.
We I was
Possibly.
March through May was kind of what I was thinking. March through June.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, one
If
at
we
least
can-
one training a month.
We definitely want to try and do something starting in March so we have time to get around to everybody.
Just don't make the notice too short. So if it's a meeting that somebody from like John Day has to get to, they need to know in advance. You can't announce this a few days in advance or a week. It has to have plenty of notice.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd say
agreed.
no less than 2 weeks,
Yeah,
just because of scheduling and whatnot at smaller libraries.
yeah, and if possible, even more than that will be
I
our
would
goal.
say, yeah. Okay, look forward to seeing what we put together for trainings and hope we get good response on the survey.
Yeah, I hope as well. Thanks everybody for your participation, and have a great day.
Thank you.